Commentating. Oh, how you've changed since I last saw you. I never would have guessed that the art of commentating would have been taken over by reason renegades and riff artists that feed the hunt for the cringe. The community I've known still stands, but these things have taken over so much in my absence. Now that I've left the MOBAs, I must commentate for the Year of the Monkey. This is my time. And speaking of time, looks like I've got something I need to deal with thanks to that old fart Time Lord. Athena, kill the lights. Hello? Anyone here? My clock is wrong. It says it's about 4 years fast. Hello?
Look out down below. Here comes Banana Slammer.
In case you didn't catch on, GWS is back, and I've got this little meathead G-Dub from 2012 to co-op with me. Just for the record, I'm working with young me here so he doesn't run off and get schooled by another modern-day commentator. Okay, one, I don't know what hurts worse, the beating or hearing that DK crap again. And two, I'm you, remember? Yeah, no shit, Skippy. That's why I'm the one schooling you. And shut up, you'll learn to like those memes. So anyways, we need a video to cover, so let's see... Oh my god! Wait, what? What's the matter? Ooh. This was made for commentating, baby! Portal is, my PBS is YouTube? Oh, we can critique the hell out of this bad boy. We gonna have a good time with this. I don't get it. What's so funny about this title? Wow, you really are from 2012. Well, what better time to teach you about the future, huh? And hey, you've played the Portal games, so you can get on this too. Let's boo-boo.
We already know that it features a cast of no-nonsense kick-butt women. Even the adorable little turrets will kill you with kindness.
Why did he mention the turrets here like that? Like, what does that have to do with the big female roles in the game? Beats the fuck out of me, kid. I'll tell you what this comes across as, actually. This is a scattered reference to Portal that is literally planted here just to say, look guys, we know about cool stuff from the game, when the guy actually doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I know this because, let's be real, nobody gives a shit about the turret genders in this game. They're just dime a dozen minion Goombas you can knock over with a box, and they can come across as either male, female, or basically having no distinct gender whatsoever, so it really is irrelevant to mention them here.
Meanwhile, the men of Portal don't fare nearly as well. Wheatley has been compared to the archetypal Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, jealous boyfriend type.
Wait, what? Can I take this one? Yeah, shoot. That's one of the most stretched comparisons I've ever heard. Jekyll and Hyde is a story where the guy uncontrollably goes from gentleman to sociopath and is basically Harvey Dent before he burns half his face off. Wheatley is an incapable and awkward AI that becomes entitled and mad with power when he gets it. We're talking about a guy that denies his own inadequacy when he experiences greatness, not a person with a violent split personality. Not bad considering one of the last times you referenced Wheatley in a video was pretty cringy. Fuck you, GWS. Oh, and the jealous boyfriend thing? Tell me that isn't one of those times where people overly simplify something to be completely inaccurate for the sake of comedy. See, the problem with this guy trying that here is he does it completely unironically with no due explanation whatsoever. That's like someone doing a serious summary of a MOBA storyline and they say this.
In the League of Legends, you play as champions. Champions are people who don't have a job. You use them to fight against other people. They're basically homeless people fighting for our amusement.
Cave Johnson is the father of all evils.
The fuck? You know Cave Johnson was the guy that wanted Carolyn to lead Aperture with the GLaDOS project, right? Assuming he didn't do it himself. As in, he wanted Carolyn in that position of power to further science in the event of his death? Yeah, sounds shitty for all intents and purposes to me. It's true that Cave Johnson was rogue with how he went about science, but compare his leadership of Aperture with Black Mesa's management. Black Mesa seemed a lot more tame and realistic, and they didn't make GLaDOS, but they were irresponsible enough to do an experiment that could and did rip apart reality with a resonance cascade. Remember, that one experiment Black Mesa did brought aliens to Earth and doomed humanity when the Combine managed to find the planet! Hey, remember when that father of all evil stopped that experiment when he bought out Black Mesa in an alternate universe? Oh yeah, what a dickhead.
And there's even a guy named Ratman. Ratman.
Who did Ratman move up to test subject order to stop GLaDOS ASAP? You know, it was the test subject that Ratman saved when he rebooted the relaxation chambers prior to Portal 2. I don't know, I think her name rhymed with Mel. Oh, another question? Sup, foo? How are the male characters worse off than the adopted mute with her life constantly in danger and a woman who turned into a psychopathic AI? Oh, they're worse off because some puts either completely misrepresented the character, made a character sound like a villain for no good reason, or brushed off a character for their name like an immature high schooler. Huh.
Also, it was made by a feminist. Kim Swift has been more than outspoken about the need to get more young women involved in game making. So I think it's safe to say that Portal is feminist.
One game designer wanting plenty of women working in gaming equals a feminist game.
The CEO of GWSWorks said, "We love to see more women in the game industry."
I'm gonna go out on a limb and call bullshit on that assumption. Hey, quick question. Are your hands getting cramped up from grabbing at straws so much, bud? Actually, that game looked kinda cool. What was it called? Sandstorm by Darude.
The important thing about Shell is that she's the first-person silent protagonist. According to Portal's writer, Eric Walpole, she was created as a player surrogate, a complete blank slate you impose your own viewpoint on. This already sounds a bit subversive, since Portal was a pack-in with the Orange Box, where all the other first-person silent protagonists, if you're sensing a theme here, were male.
He didn't, no!
He totally did. He fucking called the TF2 cast some of the most quoted characters in video games silent protagonists.
See, this is the part where we can see without a shadow of a doubt that this guy has no clue what he's talking about with Portal. I don't think I could ever understand how you wouldn't know about TF2 having so many characters that talk in the game. Oh my...
As Jen Frank wrote in Killscreen, Shell is a feminist character because she's confronting an experience or presumption you bring into the game. She's opposing whatever you thought you would be. So Shell is a potent, powerful illustration of how certain types of games are incredibly male-centric, as I've discussed many times before.
Or maybe the crew behind the first Portal just thought it'd be a fresh idea to put these female characters into a game? Does everyone in your time overthink when a game designer is likely just thinking, hey, why not make the main character a lady? Like, if I say that I have an antagonist character that's fascinating and developed, but also female, are people gonna probe way too far into that? Not quite. But people that don't play games do that a lot.
That is to say, she's the victim of institutional sexism. Writing for Pop Matters, G. Christopher Williams argues that the way engineers sought to control GLaDOS is a familiar response from men to what they perceive as the misbehavior or irrational thinking of women.
I genuinely can't make this shit up. Hey G-Dub, is a cold-blooded AI repeatedly trying to murder a facility full of scientists something you'd want to stop ASAP? Yes? Well then, you're clearly sexist. And I'll say this in case he was also referring to people urging Carolyn to upload her brain into a computer. It'd be pretty hard to argue sexism for this, considering that putting Carolyn into the GLaDOS system basically entailed her to overseeing the entire place. How prejudiced that people trusted Carolyn to lead Aperture, as an immortal AI nonetheless, when she was the backbone of the facility. Now, was it a bad decision to pressure someone into becoming an AI when they didn't want to, especially considering the possible ramifications that could have and did result from the scenario? Well, yes, but it's about as sexist as an equally stupid misuse of science, like, say, causing a resonance cascade.
This is no ordinary renegade AI and human pawn connect up on LinkedIn either. Many people think it's highly plausible that GLaDOS is Shell's mother, or technically Caroline is.
She's the backbone of this facility. Pretty as a postcard, too. Sorry, fellas. She's married. To science.
See, that's why neither of us actually showed the transcript for the Backbone voice clip earlier with Carolyn, because this video would keep ignoring the important context from the game in question and use a clip that helps prove its detractors right. Wow, you really can't make this up.
It's him to fuck bees!
And have you ever really noticed the way that GLaDOS treats Shell? She's your classic nagging mother.
I guess you are listening to me. But for the record, you don't have to go that slowly.
Actually, here's the thing if we assume GLaDOS was Shell's mom once, and actually knew that throughout the course of both games. The one thing that pokes a hole in that idea is how GLaDOS treats Shell in the game. Remember, it's pretty clear that GLaDOS doesn't reference anything relating to Carolyn in the first game, and doesn't even seem to remember Carolyn until she goes down to Aperture Innovators in the second one. I can back this by pointing out that until Potatoes and Shell fall down to the Innovators complex, the whole mentality GLaDOS has with Shell is, You test and eventually die, or I kill you when you try to get in my way. She will straight up go HAL 9000 and eliminate whatever human gets in her way for science. She already has with her killing off scientists with neurotoxin, and Shell isn't spared when you give GLaDOS the chance to kill her. That is until GLaDOS figures killing Shell is way too hard and just boots her ass out the front door. Hell, you could argue that GLaDOS faked deleting Carolyn in the ending scene of Portal 2, and the previously mentioned reason was kinda covering up what she actually was doing shit for. The point is, the guy mentions nothing like this and seems to be completely ignoring the original context of what happened in Portal 2 once again.
And there's that other.
Some people think Caroline gave birth to her, but in order to pursue her career in science, gave her up to someone else in the company. That would explain why GLaDOS picked Bring Your Daughter to Work Day to lay siege to the laboratory. She wanted her baby back.
That literally makes no sense. Yeah, pick a time to flood the lab with neurotoxin when your supposed daughter is in the building. This is yet another time where GLaDOS' actions would be betraying her motives if she remembered being Carolyn and having Shell as her kid.
And the reason this fan theory is so important is because the theme of a daughter atoning for her mother's transgressions is rarely explored in pop culture. Thank God I have this companion cube to hug.
Alley-oop.
Jesus, what the— I didn't have a point to make, I just really wanted to do that. Okay, can we just end this so you don't roast something that isn't the guy's points? Alright, fine. Actually, you want to roll first, G-Dub? Well, I think it's worth mentioning that even though I feel like I've missed something, to put it lightly, in the last, 4 years, I do know the Portal series. And this entire video has made me feel like the person speaking here hasn't played either of the games or even seen much of them whatsoever. For all I know, I could tell him that it was all in one game and he'd actually believe me for a second.
At least this video shows that male gamers can act fake as shit too.
Like, if you're gonna be sitting here and acting like it was such a big accomplishment to have great female characters like GLaDOS and, I guess, Shell, the least you could do is talk about what actually made them so great. You threw out some fan theory about the games in such a clumsy and ham-handed way that it's like you wanted this cleverly written female antagonist to be brushed off as just some female goof troop shit going on here. GLaDOS was such a fresh concept when the first game was made, and now you're making her look like she's a part of some gender-bent goof troop? Like Dada, like Mom, that— oh, I'm going? Okay. This is probably one of the most desperate attempts to ego boost a cause like feminism that I have ever seen. All this one guy did throughout the entire video was parrot off other people's ideas, overstate concepts that didn't really mean much at all in the Portal games, or casually get aspects of Vigi games so horrendously wrong that it's unbelievable. You know how people make food for thought by theorizing about games? Well, this is filler for thought, no substance to be found. And those problems? That's not even the biggest blunder here, believe it or not. What the hell do you mean? I mean that the question in the video title, the very premise behind the video, is pretty moot by now. Now, me or G-Dub, we could tell you for free how refreshing it was to see good female characters like GLaDOS when Portal 1 and 2 were new. But you know what really picked up with female characters between G-Dub's time and right now? No. We started to realize the greatness of good female characters in games, to the point where we reflected on that much more and tried a whole bunch of new ideas with what we wanted in female characters. We found that ideas needed to be fresh for new female characters, and we wanted plenty of those good ideas, so we got just that. But with that came a subtle realization that crept in towards the end of that time frame. We were so successful with the initiative to come up with all these great ladies in games that the bloom kind of came off the proverbial rose. We liked great female characters, but eventually they just became great characters. They were just good characters with the rest of them. Now we have games with ladies that are bae, badass, or somewhere in between, and so it's not really relevant to dwell too much on it now. It's old news. Wait, when was this made then? The video came just earlier this year, kiddo. And that's the cruel fate of this whole situation. Even if it was better at making a point, it would still be trying to board a hype train that's long since left the station. Oh, by the way, G-Dubs, before I send you back to your timeline and shit, what part of 2012 were you from? Later into the year, why? Really? Fuck. Yeah, good luck with that one. Wait, what? I totally just said that to screw with him. Are your hands getting cramped up from Okay. Yeah, we'll keep that in.
Boo 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 boo. Hey boo boo, fuck the ranger. Boo.
What the hell do you... Whoa.